afternoon, good evening, my peoples, good evening. We're back with another episode of Keeping It a Buck, brought to you via our parent company, Changing Lives Through Athletics. Tonight's show is sponsored by Inception Athletic Center, located at 45 Herschel Road, Cedar Knolls, New Jersey, where the best begin. Excuse me, man, had a little interruption there. So tonight we got a lot going on, man. Before we even get into tonight, I just want to thank the young brothers that came by last week. Niqui Hawkins, who we had?
Taekwon Roberson, and we had the Rocket.
And the Rocket, yeah, thanks, man. We really appreciate that, man. We had some fun with y'all. That was a good interview, everything. But tonight we got a couple of NFL, signees about to leave tomorrow off to their respective NFL teams. We got Elijah Battle out of Barringer, went to West Virginia. Jamar Summers out of Orange High School, he attended UConn. And Kimoko Ture out of Barringer as well that went to Rutgers. So we gonna build with them. They're gonna tell us, what it was like, the whole getting ready for the pro, the pro experience and everything like that. And then, we're gonna kick it off first with the coaches.
Don't forget the brother Akron Wally as well.
Yes, can't forget Mr. Wally. So we're gonna kick it off with the coaches though, and that's the part like I'm really looking forward to. We got Coach Grant from Sabaz, won a state champ, right?
Yep,
absolutely. Yeah, state champion, yes, Coach sir. Grant. We got Coach Augie from St. Joe's. Yep. Actually, I wish we could have had him up here with Taekwon and them.
Oh, Coach.
Yeah. That was a good one there.
They didn't win that state championship though.
Yeah.
Taekwon and them won that.
Taekwon got that.
It's a winner and loser to everything. Not first or second. Coach Smoke from Irvington. I think did he make a record last year with 8 commits?
In Jersey, yes.
For Irvington?
Absolutely.
That was huge. That was huge.
8 commits. He had 1 JUCO and 1 kid went to prep. But, that was big for the public. Yes, sir.
And then we got, Coach Lopez, man. Coach Lopez, formerly of Don Bosco Prep, one of the architects to that whole thing. Of
the
that
great one.
2 national championships. So we got some good things going. But before we even get into all that, man, I've been saving this to even build with y'all brothers about, are y'all aware of what took place with the coach getting fired from Camden Catholic?
Oh man, I think I saw something like that on Facebook. I had actually shared it, and I read through it, and to see that he was being terminated for having. They said he had too many blacks on his team.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give the viewers a little insight into this whole situation here. This is via the Star Ledger. It says football coach asked to resign. He said school wanted fewer black players. Report says. So, I'm just going to give a little background. It says high school football coach Nick Storm, who led the Fighting Irish to a 34-6. So he was 34-6, record in 4 seasons. As the head coach, said he is being asked to resign according to a report. Storm claims in a report that the school wants him gone because he has too many black players on his team. Okay, so then it goes on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna get into it. I think this is him, and this is quoted. He's being quoted. I think this comes from me not conforming to the viewpoints on what they want the student body and football teams to look like. Storm said in the report, I've tried to build this program into one that's based on kids being of ability, high character, and grades. From day one, the administration told me they did not approve to the ratio of black to white students. According to the report, Storm was informed he would not be retained as a history teacher at the school and was asked to resign as the head football coach and golf coach. He declined to resign, the report said. Storm told the Courier Post the topic of race came up 10 to 20 times with President Mark Whipke since he was hired as the head football coach in 2013. When I'd have a list of potential freshmen, the first question I'd be asked is if they were white or black. Storm said in the report, I was confused about why the question was. How can we get more white players in the program? The school gave the Courier Post a statement denying the accusation. So basically the school went on to say he was fired for being tardy, poor classroom management, his kids was out in the hallways, running around. He was warned about this before, so they just chose not to renew his tenure. I personally, I don't really know the truth to this. I do know this theme seems recurrent. Absolutely. I know we had this happen at St. John's Vianney,
yes.
When that coach was winning. And
it's going on in a lot of programs. A lot of the programs, they don't. You have a lot of money going in these programs, and the money that's being flown through is not African American people. So what's happening is a lot of the Caucasian people who's used to seeing their children playing football, they're putting thousands and thousands of dollars in these programs, and now they're seeing Raheem and Akbar and Kareem and on the fields now. So they're having a problem with that, you know. And it's like, I want to speak about, you know, Chris Partridge, you know, how he changed the game for that in bringing the African Americans in Paramus Catholic.
I personally, I know Chris Partridge gets a lot of flack around this area, and I personally think that's where it comes from. Like, they'll blame it on recruiting and everything, but when you think about the dynamics of Paramus Catholic, to go from the basement to the top, okay, we can throw the Jabril thing. That's always going to be the elephant in the room, right?
Yes.
Jabril, the transfers and everything. But when you see, when I look at the articles, I don't so much focus on articles. I look at the comments. The comments give you the vibe of what the public is feeling. So with those comments, you get to tell the real feeling of these people involved in these school. And the thing that kept coming up was Essex County kids not paying tuition. To me, this is dog whistling, because that's language. That's language that certain people are supposed to be understand. When you start talking about Essex County, let's think about the demographics of that, you know, once we get outside of Montclair for the most part, and West Orange, not paying tuitions and all of that, you know. So those are the type of things that's being thrown around. And when I really look at what Chris Partridge did, he was in the basement, man. And he was trying, in my opinion, you know, this is just my opinion, could be totally off. He was trying to win the way all of the Bergen County schools had done it. But who the hell was going to mess with Paramus Catholic with a history of losing, never winning? Joe's, Bosco, Bergen, St. Peter's, those are legacy schools. Now, what's a legacy school? A legacy school is your father, your grandfather went there, and now your great-grandson goes there.
Absolutely.
You know, so, and they're proud, tradition-winning programs.
Absolutely.
So, was Partridge really going to be able to get one of those talents? Because when you got kids like that, they've been in training and prepared for this since they was this little. So
Absolutely.
they can really ball. We talking about some white kids that really give it up, that can ball.
That's right.
Do you think that they just going to shift over and go to basement Paramus Catholic when they had their grandfather who donates to this and their father who's an uncle there? No, they're not going there. So now Partridge has to, how the fuck can I, excuse my language, how can I win? Okay, you get Jabril. But more than anything, I got to get kids that need an opportunity and bring them here. So now you fill the team that looks mostly African American, and you start blowing Bergen out 45-2, 40-0. You go and Jabril run for 300 on St. Joe's the first half. Yeah. You win state championships, and then it's like some people really was critical of their coaches, saying they're not really great coaches, X's and O guys. They just got the Joes, not X's and O's. They got those Joes. So now you have to look your alumni in the face and say, either I match them with firepower, which means I got to go get me some Joes, or this is what we got to get used to. So now as an alumni, I'm like, I can't stand Partridge. I pay good money for my kid to attend this school. You went and got some kid from Essex County who's coming for free, and now because of that, my kid's got to go down to Pope John or Immaculata somewhere. We from here. We pay to be here. We worked our whole life to be here. So I really don't like you, Partridge, because now Bergen's forcing my son out to go bring one of these Patterson Silk City kids in here. And I think that was the real beef with Partridge. That's my opinion.
So you're saying he just overall changed the whole game in the Big North, where it's like,
and they will forever hate him for it.
We got to go get brothers to win now.
Absolutely. Because they was winning with their kids at the time with good coaching. You know, it was good coaching through all the programs, and they was winning. But once you got a taste of the African Americans getting up there, because before, as you know, that was going to those schools. That was like that's like going to college, going to those schools. We didn't think of them schools. You know, first kid I knew of going there was Will Hill at St. Peter's, and it was like, oh my God, no, Kier Griffin, which is his Will Hill's cousin. We seen him playing at St. Peter's, and it was like, ooh ah, and then Will went there. You know, so we was all St. Peter's out, like, wow, this was amazing. So to get that kind of outlet to be going there, we was like really excited about that.
So look, while we got these guys out there, let's time to bring them in. Let's talk to them.
Well, we got a couple of these guys here now, you know. So we got some public guys that's here, and we got some private guys here, and we want to get their take on some things, and we're very excited.
I want to thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate you.
All right, man. So, you know, we're going to get right to it. We got Coach Smoke of Irvington here.
Yes.
You know, Coach Augie.
Yes.
Coach Lopez, who's pretty much, you know, kind of like one of the architects of North Jersey football. Y'all built that recipe at Bosco. You know, and we got Coach Grant of Shabazz. Congratulations on the state championship, bro.
Yes.
You know, so I got a question for, you know, Coach Smoke, man. You know, this is my first time meeting you. I heard of you a lot, man. I know it's not easy to do what you're in the process of doing over there. And I just want to know, like, when you was about to take that job, what was the shape of the program?
Oh, it was crazy. Man, I appreciate what you just said, first of all, but you know what I mean? The shape was it was a 7-year drought. You know what I mean? Things wasn't getting done the right way. Hope was lost. The city was gone. It wasn't too many people interested in Irvington athletics in a sense.
So when, you know, we got viewers that's not from Jersey, you know, so some
they probably heard of me though.
Yeah, some
Shout
Spring
out to
Valley
them.
cats. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them don't know about Irving. So Irvington, tell us about the city of Irvington.
We're in the city, man. The city is the crime rate was crazy high back in the day. We right next to Newark, so it's like, you know, that's the brother right there. It's normal inner city stuff. Your Irvington, Newark, Camden, Patterson. It's shooting, drugs, same kind of things that go on in an urban city. You know, where kids kind of look to athletics for the outlet. And, you know, that was gone for 7 years. So imagine that, not having that, which was the outlet to get up out of there. And you ain't got nothing to look forward to.
So what made you take interest in even taking this position?
That's home for me. You know what I mean? I'm home. I grew up from Irvington. I grew up there, played football there. Golden Knights was one of the best pop water programs out. I grew up in Irvington. That's my city. That's where my family from. And it just felt right. You know, Dudes was there a while ago. Coach Grant was there a while ago, and the city was kind of turned up around that time. And then the 7-year drought, I felt like I had to come back and kind of, you know, put my foot down. You know what I mean? So it went down like that and went well.
I want to know, did you guys ever play football yourselves? And if so, what was the highest level that you guys reached? For all of us.
Yeah, I played in high school, and I played also in college as well as a wide receiver. You know, I didn't make any further than the college level. That's about it.
Coach Lopez, talking to the mic.
Grab the mic. Actually, I just made it to the high school level. I was actually in high school. My best college sport was baseball.
Gotcha.
It's became very boring for me. I fell in love with the game of football only because it was the hardest that it came to me was football. I was a basketball guy. It came easy. Baseball came easy. Football didn't come easy. So I was intrigued by that, and my competitive nature in that sense took over, and fell in love with it. And I owe the game a lot.
Gotcha.
Who inspired you to coach, Lopez? And when you started coaching?
You know, I think that all of us in this room could attest to this. I think the reason we all coach is because we're giving back. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the people in my life that steered me in the right way. I grew up in a broken home, and I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, and being a Spanish guy in that city, I had some very special people that saved me. So I had a guy named Bill Scarnati, who's still out there coaching, and a guy named Dick Kanoth. Those two guys took me under their wing and actually saved me. So my whole life has been dedicated to helping kids and saving kids. That's why I think we all coach, to be honest. I don't think there's anybody in this game that doesn't do it for that reason. Mm-hmm. Somebody gave us something, and now it's our turn to give back.
Absolutely. How about you, Grant? Let me hear you. What inspired you, and when you started coaching?
Well, you know, I played at Irvington High School as well, and let me tell you, we weren't good. We didn't have a good team, but I always felt like even as a young kid that there was a better way to do things. I thought there was a way in which we could be more competitive, and then I went on in college and played a little bit and learned some things about the game and really, really developed my love. When I came home, I just wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a principal. I thought I could be superintendent at one point. And then my high school coach, a guy by the name of Gil Bragg, he made me know he's probably one of the more well-known basketball and baseball officials in the state. He calls me up and said, listen, you got to coach. So I had a guy, he just had a baby, he can't do it, and you're going to coach because you will. He said, we raised you up in this town. You know, you were a knucklehead running around. We grabbed you by your collar and put you in the right direction. We need you to do it for the others. And it kind of was like gasoline and a blowtorch. It's like the first day I loved everything about it. my life goals plan, my life goals changed, my career goals changed. I knew that this is what I was going to do after the first day.
Gotcha. Augie.
Well, I think, like Lopes was saying, I think there's always there's some point in your career, whether you're young, old, that you come into somebody comes into your life, and they realize that you may not have been where you got to without that person. And I think that was a big part of it for me. Was along the way, I had some real special people in my life. I mean, obviously Tony Carstage has been a big influence on me. In my opinion, he's one of the best around. But there was other guys like a gentleman now. He's a principal up in our area. Was a St. Joe's grad. Kind of took me under his wing when I was a 7th and 8th grader. Talked to me about the opportunities that I could have at a school like St. Joe's. And our strength coach in high school was another guy that just was a huge part of my life. And really, those guys gave me the foundation for what I was able to accomplish in my playing career. And I just love the fact that we can be in that in that area now. It's changed so much from when we were playing. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing, right? We're still trying to mentor kids and try to get them to achieve what they're looking to achieve. But it's definitely the influences that you had when you were coming up that I think drive you into where we are now. And I also think it's what level you want to be at, because it changes, right? You're in college, you get to the pro level, it's a business. You go to college is more business-like than high school, and then high school is really where you can make a huge influence on these kids.
Gotcha. Smoke.
For me, it was the Golden Knight organization. Ralph Steele, which is a legend in Irvington, just in Essex County, period. I think it's too many people that kind of look up to him. He kind of introduced me to it at the age of 10, and he stuck with me throughout my entire career. Had fun in high school. I was coached by some great guys, Dennis McCool and Jim Delaney. Then I went up to Rhode Island and played out there, and had success and had fun there. But it started at home, man, at Irvington, man, with Coach Steele and those dudes, and just playing around my brothers. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where we came out and decided we wanted to do something together. Some of them dudes are still coaching me, which is Kareem and Nemi and those guys, and we figured we wanted to do something together. We ran into Coach Steele. He loved us. He took us in, and we repped the city the way the way it went.
You guys are definitely repping the city. But Augie, I want to ask you, what's the everyday life for a student athlete at Joe's?
Well, we do a couple. We have a couple different phases. So the off-season program right now, we run 6 a.m. lifts. So we go 6 a.m.
So that's before school.
Yeah, before school.
Okay.
And then we got kids coming from an hour away. They're there on time, 6 o'clock every morning. So they'll train from 6 to 7:30. Then they'll get off the class by 8:10. School gets out around 2 o'clock. And for the guys that don't come in the morning, we have a 2:45 group also. So to split it up, because it makes it, our weight room's not huge, so it makes it a little more manageable. And then from 2:45 to 4 o'clock, they're training 4:15. Mm-hmm. Get home, hit the books, and go to bed. And then we do that. That's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. They give them a morning workout, conditioning workout. We just moved it. We have another Thursday afternoon conditioning workout too. So we try to monopolize as much of their time as possible. And gotcha. I'm very protective over the off season, because there's a lot of guys. I mean, listen, everybody believes in what they believe, but I think at this level in high school, that the more they're together, the better off we're going to be. So gotcha. That's why we try to keep them together.
I want to ask you a question in regards to the workout. As the head coach, how informed are you about who attends and who doesn't attend?
I mean, I'm there every day, so at every lift.
So when you, I don't even know if you have this problem, but when you have kids that don't show up or skip lifts, like, does that play a part in their playing time, or is being that it's off season, are you excusing it? Like,
I mean, they know, like, if they don't show up, if they're not there on Monday, we're gonna have a conversation Tuesday as to why they weren't there. And my guys do a good job, though. Like, if they can't make it, if they're not going to be there, 95% of the time they're saying, "Hey, coach, I'm not going to make it today." But listen, you get a couple guys that are going to, "Oh yeah, coach, something," and then I just tell them, like, pump the brakes on the excuse. Let's just get there tomorrow. You know what I mean? There's no need to you know. But yeah, no, listen, it's at the end of the day, they know I'm going to be there.
Got you.
So they know that they're going to have an excuse as to why they weren't.
Got you.
Lopez, excuse me.
You got it.
I need to know that question from you. When you was with the legendary Bosco, what was practice like with you guys over there, man? And
Practice was easy. I mean, come on. Yeah. Well, when I was at Bosco, look, listen, and we got some great people in this room right now, and I'm going to keep it real with you. It's about who could practice harder, longer, faster. You know, let's if you could just go with that theory, can we go longer, harder, and faster than our opponent? I think that's where you're going to get some answers.
How you get that out of a kid though? That comes with some,
you know, the
weak
whole
backgrounds
staff.
or-
I was listening to Coach out there talking before, and he says that he scripts everything for practice. Well, on our staff, if Coach would have scripted something, there'd be a fist fight only because we were all so competitive with each other as a staff. So, like, one of my great all-time friends is Coach Bill Tierney. He's a defensive back coach. I was the receiver coach, and if Coach Bill Tierney beats me or beats any one of my guys, that was personal to me. And I think that there's something to that when you're competing. Look, listen, Coach Toll's the head coach. He's the head guy. But that doesn't mean if Coach Toll is coaching the offensive line or the defensive backs for that day that I don't want to whoop him. I mean, I want to win. So I think that everybody on the staff was on the same page for that reason. You had a bunch of competitive coaches that did not like to lose, and winning was everything for them. Everything. I mean, I hope I answered the question the right way for you guys. I hope I gave you a little bit insight on what it was like at Bosco. Every kid that we brought there needed to work hard and was held accountable. Any kid that left Bosco left because that wasn't his vision.
Gotcha. Now, Coach Grant, same thing in that form of, everyday life of a student athlete at Shabazz.
For us, we want to develop a culture.
Gotcha.
Our culture is competition. So in everything I was telling Coach outside, I script everything. I put kids in situations, in pressure-packed situations, to see them at their best and also see them at their worst so we can build them up. I mean, some of our guys come and they need some work. They're not ready-made. They're not Division I ready. As soon as we get them as ninth graders, they need to be developed. They need to be built. They need to be made into the mold in which we set forth in our program. So for us, they come in the daytime. I mean, there's, we call lunch with Coach. So each day, during lunch periods, my guys will sit down, we'll have lunch, we'll have a mini meeting. And it's not about football. It's about what's going on in your life. What'd you eat last night for dinner? What you gonna do? How things going in your classes? How's your mom? How's your grandmom? How's your dad?
Yeah.
And that's when you find out about your guys and find out what's really going on. And then that way you can take that and create an environment where they can thrive.
And more importantly, I like what you said because we had this conversation long before you guys got here. And as an educator myself, what you're doing is I find to be the best, how you get the best out of certain type of kids. As we expressed before, certain kids come from a broken home. Dad's not in the home. You don't know what's going on at night. Kid might come to your practice tired, and you don't know that he has a little brother or sister that he takes care of while his mom works an overnight job.
Definitely. So
in order to yell at a kid and break him down, certain type of kid that's not used to taking instruction from a man, he has to know you care about him first. Because that's the only way he going to hear anything you have to say, because he knows what you're saying and what you're doing is coming from a place of love.
Yes.
When you don't take that time to know this type of kid we're talking about, and then you try to break him down, the first response you get is, you're not my father. And the reality of it is, his father was never there. He's not used to taking instruction from a man. So you have to build equity with that kid first.
Yes.
Let that kid know I care about you. What's going on in your life? Did you eat? Here, are you hungry? So that's huge, man. That's huge.
Smoke, how about yourself? How do you get kids to play for you the way they do? Because I'm very impressed. Again, as we talk a lot about the publics, especially Irvington and Shabazz, and what you doing, winning championships, you winning and going got 8 kids signed with scholarships this year, and I just want to know how do you get your kids how do you invest in your kids and get them excited to play for you the way they play?
I showed the love. I kind of let them know I care about them. I stole the Temple Tough thing and used the Irvington Tough thing because when I first took the program over, I kind of wanted to build tough kids. And I'm not talking about physically tough. I'm talking about mentally tough. My parents don't have two parent households. They don't have the money. They're not in the best situation. So my job is to say, by the time these kids leave me, I want to know they prepared for life. So I stay on them. I stay on their ass and make sure I stay. We as a staff, I brought some good guys around that push the toughness in them. When situations don't go right, how you gonna react to it? And we do that day in and day out. Doing that helps the culture, helps us come together as one, and kind of lets them know that they can kind of get through whatever situation, whether it's on the football field, whether it's at home when your father just got locked up, or your mother ain't got no money, whether you ain't got a ride at 9:30, you got to walk home. Whatever the situation is, I want them to be able to get through it. And whatever college they get to, they're gonna be fine. So that's the biggest thing with me.
Well, I want to ask you, because I'm very familiar with the program these two come from. Mm-hmm. I know building a public school program is a lot harder than building a private school program. Private school kids kind of want to come there. True. Public school, they reside to come in there. Like, okay, I'll go. Yeah. So, in regards to one of the things I noticed the hardest thing to do for some of the public school coaches I know is to get kids to believe that they can make it from there.
But I feel like that's I feel like that's in our town. Like I feel like that's in the inner city. If you go to Randolph, if you go to Morristown, and different those kids go to their local public schools. They know they're going there to play there, just like how you said the grandfathers, their father, their uncles, or whoever probably from the town went there. It's I think in our city, which is North, I think we have so many public schools where it's like you may have a Coach Grant at Shabazz or you got Smoke in Irvington, but believe it or not, he's really in Irvington. So if Coach Grant is probably one of the best coaches in North, it kind of it limited, like far as kids. It's a lot of, not to be wrong or whatever, but it's a lot of bad coaching that's going on that kind of make kids go other ways. So if they see the kid that played 2 years prior before him in the program or in the organization, and he goes up to Bosco or he go to Joe's, they see like, oh, he got a scholarship offer from the beginning, or I could go do that. So now with Coach Grant, and actually what I see with Coach Grant and what Coach Smoke is doing, Coach Smoke had 8 kids that that went to college on the scholarship. So you know how many kids now probably saying I want to go play at Irvington?
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is even to get to that point, there's some building you gotta do. Right? You gotta sell that. And the hardest thing about selling that, like I'll take where I'm from, which is Spring Valley, which is not half as big as Newark. We got 2 high schools. And the hardest thing about it, we'll get to stay, is because you gotta get your first kid that's like your model that makes the kids behind them, sets the example and make them believe. Out of a public school, that's a lot harder than a private, because a private is a lot more structured. Sure. You insulated. You got less room for BS. Like you heard, Augie, I'm occupying all your time. My kid went to a private school, so from the time he woke up to the time he went to bed, he just had just enough time to go to bed. Sure. Like so how do you do that at Irvington? When you went in, what was your plan? Your first 3 things you was going to do?
One of the biggest things was bringing coaches that done it before. What these kids want, they want, in order for them to believe, they want confirmation. My staff is, Nemi done played at Minnesota, Dre done played, I was just finished telling, played at Boston College, I done played at Rhode Island. My brother played in the league for 4 or 5 years, so I surround these kids around guys that played football. We done played on the Division I level. We all done played. My OC played at Fairfield State, won a couple conference championships.
Your brother, what's your brother's name?
Kareem Huggins. He played with Charles Sullivan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of his guys.
So I brought that into it. That was one of the biggest things, bringing coaches that played on that level. Yeah. I knew the kids would believe. The second thing was making sure I keep my kids home. I said I'm tired of seeing kids leave. I'm not I'm not the one that's gonna take the L. The L, you know, the whatever it was before they took the L. But I said I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make these kids believe, to make these kids stay home. That was my other biggest. So that was my second biggest thing, and then just academics was the first, but the third thing. I said we just got to pull these GPAs up so guys can qualify and get to the next
that's not
level.
easy.
That's not easy. So we incorporated a study hall. I got them. Just finished telling Augie they with me from time they enter school. They don't leave till 8 o'clock. I got an hour and a half study hall, 30 iPads. They locked in. You can't leave. You got 20 minutes to get something to eat after school. You with me you got study hall from 3:10 to 4:30, 4:35. Then we working out at 4:55. So I don't give them any room to breathe, and I let them know that academics is important. Then, you know, my relationships with coaches, is bringing college coaches in is the other thing that just let these kids know I ain't got to go nowhere else. I ain't got to go give Augie $17,000. I can just stay with Smoke.
Now look,
You know what I mean?
now as you at Irvington now, would you ever decide to actually play any of the parochial schools?
Man, I'm scrimmaging. I won everything. You know what I mean? I just locked in with Pope John on the scrimmage on the 18th. I'm game scrimmaging St. Peter's Prep. I got Bergen Catholic on the 4th. I'm not ducking. You go however you want. You know what I mean? I'm not the public school guy that's just going.
We got St. Joe's next to you.
Hey man. Hey, I tell people all the time.
Right next to you.
Hey, I tell people all the time, man. I know people want to see. They want to see us fall. I get it. But that go with the Irvington tough, the Irvington versus everybody.
Speaking of wanting to see you fall, my boy Nakeem Hawkins, he got a message for y'all, man.
Yeah. That's my guy, man.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
he made that known.
Yeah, that's my guy.
He said it's a dog eat dog world.
Yeah.
And you got to get it how you give it.
He said you're the hardest worker in Jersey, right?
Point blank.
Yeah.
Point blank. I told that kid I would have offered him. I ain't never seen him play. I need his personality in my locker room.
Hey, that's family, man. Them dudes you
watch
had
it because they trying to get him at the pool too. It might be a problem.
I'll get worried, man.
Yeah. But so I got a question for you, Augie. I know you took over the program from a legend, who also coached you. A lot of success, and those are not easy shoes to fill. What'd you have to do to put your stamp on the program? What was your first order of business? I mean, I know it's ready made already, but you got to do something to say this is mine now.
I think the biggest thing was, and everybody said it was, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But there's got to be some modicum of, all right, this is my team now. And I think it was basically just, you know, Coach Karsh had his way of doing things, and he could have coached the entire team by himself. He's that type of football mind. He could call the offense, call the defense. He's one step ahead of everybody, and you saw it. I mean, in the you know the mid 2010s, you know 9, 10, 11, we were not where we were or where we are 12, 13 to now with the players that we had, but we were beating teams. I remember, you know, we beat St. Peter's up at Joe's.
That's Presley's year, right?
Presley's
with
year.
Savon Huggins and Royster.
Go through the list of guys, Lumpkin, all kinds of kids, and you know, Coach was always just a step ahead. And I knew, like, taking over, that was not going to be my MO from the start. You know, it really was for me taking a page out of Bosco's book, because when I came back home, you know, I had been gone for 10 years, come back, and Bosco is like the king of the world. I mean, I'm seeing infants with onesies on that are Don Bosco football. And I'm like, well, when I left, we were on top of the world. And I'm very close with Coach Toll. Greg Toll Jr. and I are best friends. We were roommates together. So I kind of knew they were winning, but I didn't know what was going on. And when I came back, it was like a real culture reality check. Like, wow, it's not St. Joe's and Bergen Catholic anymore. That's not even close. It's Don Bosco and then everybody else. Mm-hmm. And Lopes is right, because I was on the sideline for a couple of those ass kickings in 9, 10, 11, where they were just running you off the field. Like, it wasn't even close. Mm-hmm. And it was a mental toughness thing. It was a physical tough thing. And it was a go out and make sure that you're getting the right kids in your program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because
we spoke a little about that before you guys came in.
You know, so that was the biggest thing. It was like, wait a second, now that's the bar. Let's not pretend like it's not there. Mm-hmm. Let's go out and do it. You know, and then it took. You know, I came back in 2009. I had the freshman team for 2 years, and then when I was coming up in 2012, we beat Bosco at home That was the first in-state loss they'd had.
I don't know.
You weren't there for that. He reminds me of that.
He built it and got up out of there.
But but that was a huge step. That was a huge step for St. Joe's football. Because the '90s were Bergen and Joe's, and the 2000s were Don Bosco. And when I took over, it's got to be that type of intensity. It's got those kids, and like Smoke said, it's not even about physically tough. It's you need 22 guys that are not willing to break. No matter what, they're not going to break.
So I want to ask you guys a question. I mean, this might be harder for you to answer, but starting with you, Smoke, what going into next season, man? What you taking? What loss still stings that you feel like it messed up my sleep? Like we gotta get this right. Like
both of them. Well, yeah, all of them. The Nutley one was embarrassing. I ain't sleep that day. I didn't even speak to. I just went to sleep. But that it's just about finishing, man. It's finishing. The Phillipsburg one sits. We had them beat. We
that's a proud program right there. You gotta finish them.
Yeah. But that we did that to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's still Irvington versus everybody. It's just one of those things. We did it to ourselves and we ain't finished. So it's one of those things, man. We take the losses and we figure out what we need to work on, which was finishing, and we just preach that all. We preach that all off season. We just got to get it done.
I just want y'all to go down the line and answer that.
I think for us last year, when you lose the last one, that's always the worst, especially in a state championship game. But if you're a St. Joe's football player, coach, alum, losing to Bergen Catholic is sickening. It is. It's sickening. Because it's just so much that goes into it. We're competing for the same kids. There's a tremendous alumni base on both sides. When that's an electric game. It has been for all the years that it's been in existence. So I would say you don't like to lose the state championship. And you definitely don't want to lose to Bergen.
I know you never lost, Lopez. So
he lost in '97. He'll remind at BC.
'97.
By the way, I lost 6 games.
Get the mic.
I lost 6 games in my 11 years at Bosco, and I can name all of them. And in 2004, St. Joe's beat us. In 2004.
That's Devonshire, right?
But here's what I want to say about losses. The 6 losses that I did lose, I just want to tell the coaches this. Those 6 losses were the staff. We lost those games. Our kids did not lose any game while I was at Bosco. The 6 losses was on us. We lost that. And when we lost to St. Peter's, and they're going to like this out here in Essex County, when we lost to St. Peter's in the state championship, that was probably one of the best things that happened to our program.
Will Hill?
Yeah. Well, we got Will the second time, boy. We knocked his ass out of the game. He didn't finish that game.
He was on the menu.
He didn't finish that game. But the God's honest truth, I think now that I've been out of the game, any loss that you took, if you could just you'll find the answers if you just look within your coaching staff and don't look at the kids that did it to you. Just look within and then figure out where did you go wrong that week? What did you do wrong that week? And you will find the answer. You just need to look at yourselves and don't look at that the kids did anything wrong. The kids just went out there and played their asses for you. Now you need to figure it out. That's what coaching is all about. And I think that's what we did at Don Bosco pretty damn good. We always accepted the loss as this one's on us. We lost this game for those kids. You go back now. Let's figure it out. And I got one more thing before we end today. One of the biggest secrets at Don Bosco was we started filming everything. We filmed everything. We didn't just film inside run. We didn't just film team. We filmed everything. So therefore, that position coach went back and watched individuals, group, team, and there's just a ton of film watching. And here's what it does for you. When that boy and that mom walk up to you and say, "Why isn't my kid starting?" It's on film. It's on film.
Coach Grant.
Dude.
Well, you know what? In the South Ward this year, we kind of had a good year, man. We didn't lose any games, so it's hard to. But I'll tell you this, though. When you go from being a hunter to the hunted, it's something different. When you take, from where we are and where I'm at in the city and our program, I got the program at Shabazz had been a story program, pretty much the gold standard in the city of Newark for all through the 80s and early 90s, and the program went on hard times. It was 7-33 before I took the program. We made the playoffs the first year, and we won't have winning seasons every year since then. So to go from there, to the point where you can take, the place where people tell, you don't want to go play there, you don't want to go play there, to that point where you're at 12-0. It's like you don't want to go back. So you're always chasing your ghosts. You're always chasing yourself. So for our thing, my biggest, I tell our guys, no, the only team that can beat us is us. I mean, so are we gonna not work out today and let the weak wakes and the City Groves and the people in there to catch us?
Speaking of weak wake, not to cut you off, because I've been dying to get to this question. How did it feel to finally get them back? Because this was your first time beating them.
No, that's not true. No.
Oh, my bad. You got them twice in one season.
Yeah, and the year before last too. But, let me preface that by saying this though, and it's just something for me, and I had to embrace the Thanksgiving tradition. Like I tell my guys, we kind of build our program around playing for championships, and for us, it's always that game is either the state championship is the week after, or you're coming off a devastating loss in the semifinals and trying to ratchet it up to play them again. So for us, we kind of had to, I guess, reframe our thinking. So the kids had to understand how important that game was for the city, for the school, and for the community, and then take it at so Thanksgiving, Soul Bowl for us is a separate season. Now you got to say losing Bergen or something. For us, losing week, but you can't do that.
At all.
So it took us a little while to reframe our thinking and put it in the mindset where this is the game we have to win. We don't care what's going on other than that. We'll play the state championship when the state championship comes. We'll worry about whatever happened prior. But that day, it's just us versus them.
Now, how tough is it being that you guys are within a mile apart from each other and recruiting and, of pulling other kids?
Public schools don't recruit. What are you talking about?
Oh, well.
No. Anyway, so what I'm saying to you is that
you talking about recruiting?
what it is for us is that, for us, you got to build a better mousetrap.
Gotcha.
For us in our program, we want our program speaks for itself. I mean, you watch us play. We don't want to be substandard or anything. We don't want to be second fiddle or anything. We're gonna look like a big time program. We're gonna practice like a big time program. We're gonna have guys go to college like a big time. One small fact that people don't know: we have 100% college placement at Shabazz. We haven't had a kid not have a place to go. I mean, everybody gets not a Division I player, but we've had some.
Gotcha.
But the ones who aren't, the guy that's the Division II guy, or the guy that's the Division III guy, or the guy that's the JUCO guy, he's gonna have a place too, because those guys come back to the city, and that's how we change things. That's how we rebuild ourselves. That's how we regroup as people. Because these guys come back as professionals. They come back with worldly experiences. They come back to help and build our program. We got guys, a young man like Tashawn Hedden is one of my former players. He came, he was a good player for us. He went to the University of New Haven, was a Division II All-American. He had a cup of coffee in the league.
Gotcha. And
now he's back. And I even feel good. The guy's on the far. He won't tell the story because he thinks he likes to act like he's grown, but he's still kind of young to me. Like this guy.
You coached him, right?
I know. I recruited this guy. My first job, I was at Bailey High School. I met his mom in a restaurant.
Gotcha.
And recruited him to come there, but then I left. The young man told me his brother Kareem Huggins was my first recruit, my first guy. I've been doing this way back. I've been doing this since the 90s. And he was my guy. He ended up playing there and being pretty much the best player ever to come through there. And then ended up playing in the NFL. Nimi Theodore, his O-line coach, was the guy that his school closed, ended up coming to me, and we ended up doing what we had to do to get him in Minnesota. So it's a tradition of that. It's a tradition of taking our young men who may have a stumble or a fumble here and there and get them to a position where they can live productive lives and do things. So I just feel good, watching these guys. I watch from afar. I try to stay out of it.
Would you ever tap his butt a little bit, on the field between the lines?
Hey, it's hard for the son to beat the daddy. Remember that.
Hey, Grant, let me ask you this question while you on this. What is it? What do you say to a parent or kid about choosing, a public school or your program over a private? How do you feel about that?
Well, let me get this first. If any parent comes to me and say, I want my child to have a religious education, I can't compete with that.
Right.
But then, you say it's an athletic thing, it's a football thing. That's going to be later. I said, well, look, let's look at the pros and the cons. I said, first of all, know your kid. What is this people telling them? If he's not. You're talking about these programs are elite programs. They have this many kids going to Division I, that many kids going to Division I. If your kid wasn't the best player on his team, what's the chances? And then I'll say, what's the tangible confines? Can you get them there every day? Can you pay the tuition bill? Is the family making this decision, this going to cause a hardship to you guys later on? I'm like, if any of those are yes,
one thing you always said to me, you always say to me is, don't worry about it. I'll be here when he come back.
Exactly. And that's also
the way it happens most of the time.
Listen,
most of the
man.
time, only a select few is going to stick.
11, there's only 11 guys out there on either side at a time, and the special teams or whatever. And there's a lot of guys. You go and there's 60 guys, and maybe a kid might not be the guy that get on the field for a Bosco or a Bergen or Joe's. But come on, I got a place for you.
I want to speak to that because what I noticed, and there was one year, I'm gonna leave the kid's names, nameless. Kid can barely play at Joe's. He left. Mm-hmm. Another kid wasn't never gonna sniff the field at Bosco and left. And at this time, I'm watching kids that's, in my opinion, more talented than them, and the Big North not playing. Those kids went back home to the public school and got full Division I scholarships. Yeah. And only sense I can make out of it is although there was a small fish in a big pond in the Big North, they went to public school and then they just look at stats and size, and they put up those numbers. And if you can stay at St. Joe's or Bosco or Bergen for 2.5 years, 3 years, you had to maintain a certain GPA. So half the battle was already won for them. Mm-hmm. All they had to do is pass their regents and go on to their respective schools. So some kids, they're not going to be able to play at those schools. Like you said, if you wasn't the best on your team, then, you probably wasting your time because it's very competitive. However, it's about stats at the end of the day. If you go somewhere where you can play, because that's all the scout want to see. They want to see your film. Mm-hmm. If you don't have any film, there's nothing to talk about.
And then guys develop as well, too. So sometimes you might get a kid at 4.
Reps.
All of us, we all roll a dice with a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid. You don't know. You got some kids who maybe reclass, maybe a little older, maybe develop a little sooner. And maybe you got a kid, it's 2 of us. Maybe we're equally as good, but this kid has already produced. He's already made the plays. So he hasn't done anything wrong. He has to do in the classroom, doing what he has to do in the field, and maybe he's doing so well, there is an opportunity for you. And not saying you're not as good, because like I said, if you look at further down the line, past this level, that once they get into Division I, you never know who's going to be better. You never know who's going to be the guy that's going to make it to the Sunday team. So sometimes it just, I guess, being in the right place at the right time or being in the wrong place at the wrong time. You see guys that great quarterbacks. And we had a kid come back from you guys. He was a quarterback. This big, tall kid, was 6'6", but he couldn't crack the lineup. He comes from me, and he helps us take our program and to a whole nother level. Got us positioned from being from grinding, trying to win games, to being 5-5, to in the semifinals, to being a scholarship worthy kid. And he went from maybe 3rd string or 4th string, and then not that he wasn't a good player, because he was talented as heck. And he was long, he was athletic, ended up playing a different position at the next level. But
the position we want him to play.
Ended up playing it with him and going to college for it.
But
he said he would be an All-American right here.
I said he'd be an All-American free safety. Hey, father said no, he's a quarterback. So he goes out and transfer out.
Like I said, customer's always right. Customer's always right. I said, come on, boy, let's throw this ball. And that's what it was, because it was a situation where, what he wanted, what he was trying to get out of this. And like I said, for every kid and for every family, it only happens once. Yeah. There's only 4 years of this thing, and when it's over, it's over. So if you're not happy with what's going on, or you're not feeling like you're getting nurtured the way in which you should be, and you want to come back to your sending school, your sending district, there's nothing wrong with that. The same way, there's nothing wrong with a kid saying I don't want to come. There's nothing wrong with a kid saying I went and I want to come back.
No doubt. And one thing before,
just come to your back,
because we got 1 minute left. But one thing I can say, Billy Lopez took a kid of mine, Al-Qadim Muhammad, right? Mm-hmm. And he played at Don Bosco. He put his foot up his ass. He made sure he got to where he was supposed to go. Now, I remember when they first got there, it was him, Jabril, and Shoemate, and Jones. And this guy, he called everybody the P word, right? So I'm looking like, how's this guy soft? How's this guy that soft? But by the time his junior year, he looked me in my face and said, Nas, he's ready to go. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And I believed in you from that day. You sell water to a well to me. I believe anything you tell me. But I watched Coach Grant take that same kid that went to Don Bosco and got him qualified. You got what I'm saying? I saw you do that, and I'll take none away. That's why I look at us. No matter whether the kids, if they from our area and they go somewhere else they play, we still end up being a village around them and make sure that they get out.
It's all about a fit, man. Yep. Everything is all about a fit. You know what I mean?
And look, that was just my competitive nature again.
Take the mic.
I agree. Everybody's here for one goal.
That's right. Who you talking to the mic?
The one goal is we all got to get our kids out. We all got to make sure that our kids are doing the right thing. You know, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all about saving kids.
No.
That's why you're in it.
That's right. This guy, same guy, I watched him take a kid, had no nothing. And I won't mention his name, but this kid is starting on Saturdays right now.
Absolutely.
Starting on Saturdays
Two
right
kids
now.
in that class.
And I
Did
was,
it for 2 kids in
I
that
was
class.
like,
Why
wow.
not say his name?
It's
Sure.
been Josh Fair Jackson.
Yo,
No grades at all. This guy here took him into St. Joe's, stayed on him in school, made sure he got the classes, and the next thing you know, this guy's ended up at
Hey,
North
Augie,
Carolina State.
I got a lot of respect for you guys, brother, for what y'all did with Josh. I mean, we was moving around with him everywhere.
King, no, I know P-
couldn't
PC.
couldn't find no school that would accept him with the grades. Not that he wasn't trying, just the school he came from effed him.
Bad curriculum.
You know what I'm saying?
Bad
And
curriculum.
so for you guys to put together what you put together, I'm talking about everybody, every Paramus. We with St. John Vianney, we went down there. We went to Bosco, we went everywhere. Everybody looked at him and said, "There's no way we can get this kid to qualify to play football." And you guys put something together where he was in the summertime, everywhere. He was just.
Listen, you got to give all. Listen, I'm lucky, right? Because we have a guy in the building that works with me. Our O-line coach, Frank Carroll. He's a college guy. He did the compliance stuff at college, so he knew exactly. When we sat down, first of all, Josh thought he was a D lineman, and we promptly reminded him that he's going to be he's going to play on Sunday as an offensive lineman. But the difference between Josh and we had a few guys that year come through, and there was some stuff going on.
Lou was screwed up too.
And yeah, but Josh was like another level of. But the thing was, with his mom and him came in, and you could tell that Josh was different than everybody else. Like he knew the path he was going down and the path that he wanted to go down, and Annette was not going to allow him go down the other path. Right. I mean, she wouldn't let me go down. I mean, there's nobody that's in her life that she does not play, and we're still very close. Yeah. Right. But Josh, he had a lot of work to do because that other school, he shouldn't have even played as a sophomore. Really, he didn't have enough credits, and. I mean, really, and credit to my principal, credit to our administration.
Takes a village.
He's gonna. This is a kid that's gonna be a great story for us. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. And he's done it. And
he's playing on Sunday.
He's got a real shot. And I'm very close with his offensive line coach. We played together, and they have to do their preseason. They have to do their preseason. I guess forecast, and he's what he thought he's going to be an all-ACC player.
I got one more question for Lopez, real quick. Lopez, I just want to ask you, the year that National Powerhouse was put together, who was on that team, and where some of those kids are at right now?
Well, we got a lot of guys in the pros, but I'd hate to be pompous right now, but I won 2 national championships. So which year are you talking about?
Excuse me.
2010. The 10 the one we was a part of.
I'm a little confused.
Before you go into that, somebody says hi, which is Dave McPherson, how we met.
Oh, yeah, hey, Dave. Shout out to Dave.
California Dave.
Cali.
Yeah. Well, which one of them was special?
You know what? When you start saying which one of those is special, you're trying to get me in hot water here.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, man. They're all special. I mean, when you get kids that come out every day to practice, and again, all these guys up here could attest to that. When these kids do what we ask them to do and do it the way they do it, there's some special kids out there, man. There really is. We got some kids that walk in the streets right now that are special, and we're not doing a good enough job in getting them and saving those kids. That's what this is really about.
I got a question for all of you, because we try to make this show about the youth and the kids and everything. So before y'all go, man, I just want y'all to pass the mic. I just want to know what type of expectations you have for this season, and then tell us some names coming up in your program that we should listen out for this year.
Sky's the limit for Irvington. We want the whole thing. We don't want a piece of it. We don't want a slice. We want the whole pie.
Greedy.
So we got to get the ring. We got a couple special guys. We got Muhammad Teray. We got Savion Herring.
We know those names.
We got
new guys.
We got Oldie Salam, who's the best freshman in this state of New Jersey, I feel. We got the Quinn. We got Zaire Swan and Zaki Swan. We got Tayon Battle, who's doing an exceptional job for us.
So all these guys is on the field this
Jean
year.
Baptiste, Sean Brooks. Yeah, these
He
guys
loaded. He got a book bag full of
We got some
studs.
guys, man. The good thing is they working hard, man. We had some great leadership last year, and those guys passed. They did a great job. Then we still got the old guys, some that played for us, some that play for us at our past location, some that play in NFL. They just coming back, and these kids are seeing what it takes. Today we probably had about 7 college guys that came back to work out.
We're gonna try to get some of these kids on the show, man. That's why I had
So
these names.
it was a
That's
good
the
thing,
future.
and that's what it's about for us at Irvington.
Pass it on.
I think for us, being an O-line guy, it starts up front for us. So, we on defense, Howard Cross is a special kid. I think he's. I don't see a guy in our conference that can block him one-on-one. Let alone, I've seen him do some stuff at 215 when he's a sophomore. He's about 265, 270 right now, and
I saw him coming in.
Explosive. So he'll be the anchor up front on defense for us, and then we got 4 linebackers back that are all 4 of them played for us last year. Matt Gibney and Dante Ziccarelli, Kevin Jaffe, and Elijah Mack, who's a pretty. Now I'm going to tell you right now, Elijah Mack might be one of the biggest hitters in the.
He's been that way since he was a baby.
In the conference, he can really bring it. But we're and in the back end is our free safety is a special kid. Connor Greco is a multiple FBS kid, and on offense, it's going to start and stop up front. Luke Whippler is he's probably
committed, right?
Luke's the sophomore tackle. He's the number 1 recruit in his class in the state. But, Jake Yaffe is starting center if he's back. Patrick McMurtry is our other tackle. But really, it's going to come off of our right-handed quarterback, Michael Lymar. This kid is – and we had a Division I kid this year, and Michael is just – he might be the best we ever had at St. Joe's. And we've
That's huge.
I'm telling you, athletically –
Weiss?
He's special.
Brett Weiss was very good. He won a lot of games. But Michael's going to be – now listen, it's a lot of pressure I'm putting on him, and he's done a great job this offseason, but he's got, and I've spoken to a lot of coaches this offseason. He's just got something different. He's grown. He's over 6'3". He's 200 pounds.
He's working too.
And he's working his butt off, and with him getting the ball to Gavin Sharkey, I think he's an explosive kid. Teray Powell, and we got the young pup Audric, who's a Spring Valley kid. Lenny knows him real well.
All these kids get you fired.
Hey, Lopez, you not? We know you retired right now, so you're doing something different now. You're training.
I'm actually training.
So when you're training, who you training? Who's out there that that you see that's very special?
I kind of have a sick. I'm kind of weird, man. You guys must know that by now. But when I get a kid, I don't know. I have a knack that I could tell that this guy's gonna do really well. I've done that my whole career, or going back to Tony Jones days, and just being able to going out to the field and just seeing it. For some reason, God gave me that ability. He didn't give me the ability to play the sport, but he gave me the ability to be able to see it through my eyes. And I'm going to throw a name at you right now of 1 or 2 or 3 kids that I've been working with that I think are. I'll give you a young kid that's an 8th grader right now. The kid's going to St. Peter's. I think the kid Christian LeBron is going to be. I think that kid's going to be a can't miss. You all know Jalen Berger from Bosco. He's a can't miss. And he mentioned the one kid before. Luke Whippler, he's another kid that'll be in the league. I think those 3 kids have a really good shot at being in the league that I've worked with so far.
Coach Grant.
Great.
Hey, we
Coach Grant, hold on. Before you
Yes.
get going, you have a kid, Steve Bright, last name Bright.
Oh, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, at Shabazz, we're kind of transits. We got kids that come in all the time. But I think we want to be.
He's going to be special.
No, we want to be. No, listen, seriously. We want to be. Come on now, you learn from me.
that in there.
All right, so.
Yeah, he tried to tuck that in.
So what we want to do, we want to be the whatever group you are, whatever division you are, whatever conference we're in, we want to be the gold standard as far as inner city football. We want to be the best program there is. We bring back Anthony Travis next year, our quarterback. He threw for 2,000 yards last year, 12-0 as a starter. We got a couple of newcomer, Kaleem Lawson. More boys in there you're going to hear.
That's a big one.
I go to church every Sunday. Lord bless me. Aziz Wilson has walked into our building. Will be our tailback this year. Going along him, we got a young man by the name of Michael Bright, who's going to be fantastic for us.
You got the baby brother coming.
He is going to be something special. Also, we bring back another young man you heard of, Antonio Williams. You know, there's a Shabazz Brick City connection as well. He's a young man. He's about 6'4", 300 pounds. Don't get him, coach, please. Let me keep him. 6'4", 300 pounds. He's going to be offensive guard for us this year. He's going to be a fantastic player, as well as Rajan Mosey we bring back, as well as Marquise Concepcion, who's a kid that, like I said, he's one of the kids that went out of the city and decided to come back home. He was fantastic for us this year. He anchored the offensive line. He was all-conference, all-league right tackle. Also, he's small, all-county. He's going to be as good as they come. I mean, for us, like I said, we've been competitive, man, for 20 years. And we've been, pretty much, in every game we haven't been, we've been pretty doggone good. But for us, I think we want to kind of go to the next level as a program.
So y'all want to scrimmage Irvington?
You know what?
They don't want that. They don't want that work.
Oh, they don't want that smoke.
Smoke, you don't want that smoke. Smoke, you don't want that smoke, young.
man.
Let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something, right? And these guys are very
The
near.
viewers don't believe that. Man.
Listen, these guys are real near and dear to my heart. These are my sons, right? These are my sons. And the thing
Augie
about
don't
it,
believe that.
these are my sons. And like I told them, I said, listen, I love y'all dearly, man, but you ever bring yourself on the wrong side of Bigelow Street, you know what time it is. But like I was saying, you know what time it is.
You might have to get that back to that Thanksgiving game.
They want to play weak way, man.
Yeah, we had no choice. We can't do that. We do that. The city might burn down. But seriously, like I said, we want to be the gold standard, and we're starting to play. We're playing Hudson Catholic this year. We've kind of increased our schedule. The Group 5s don't want to play us anymore. We played Union City and beat them a couple times. We've beaten the Group 5 Livingston, stuff of that nature. And for us, I understand their position. If you beat me, I'm a 1. So the PowerPoint and that BPI stuff that we're going to, you're not going to get that kind of benefit. But if you lose to me, you might be calling for your job. So you got to watch out. It's a slippery slope. We're in a no-lose situation. But I feel like we're ready. We're going to have a good team. We bring back a lot. I can't wait. I'm really excited with these guys. They are killing in the weight room. Like I said, I'm like,
I seen you.
I saw some of the workouts.
You got DM football training.
Let me definitely give a shout out to DM football.
Gotcha.
That's our strength coach. He's been our strength coach for the last 9 years.
While we at it, I'd like to give a shout out to Inception. this show is sponsored by Inception Athletic, Inception Athletic Training. So,
Thank you, brothers, man.
and thank y'all, man. We wrap it up. Thank y'all for coming and keeping it a buck with us.
And all we ask you guys is to tag us.
Again, that's Coach Grant from Shabazz, Coach Lopez, one of the architects of Don Bosco football, Coach Augie, y'all know his name, he young and still in it, and everybody knows Smoke. So Coach Smoke from Irvington, we got our eyes on y'all. We hope to get some of them young boys they talked about up here prior to the season starting.
Coach Smoke want all smoke.
So next we got outside, man.
Hey,
we
yo,
got
we got these NFL guys.
Yeah, we got these NFL guys sitting out there, young boys out of Newark that just signed free agent contracts. They leaving tomorrow. We fortunate enough to have them come bless us, with their presence before they get up out of here.
No doubt.
So please introduce yourself. Tell what high school you came from and what college you come out of.
I'll start.
Talking to the mic. You can grab that.
Yeah, sure.
You can grab it. Yeah, it swings.
Please make sure you're talking to it, though.
Yeah, I can share it, swing it around.
All right, cool. My name is C.L.T.A. I went to North Tech, vocational Votech, played for Behringer, and went to Rutgers University.
Rutgers in the building.
Jamar Summers. I went to Orange High, and then graduated from UConn, University of Connecticut.
Elijah Battle. I went to Behringer High School, and I played for West Virginia.
Okay, Jamar Summers, your name ring a bell. We had the young boy through here last week, Naquia Hawkins.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you was big influence on him staying home, and he got that swag, man. I don't know if you ever work out with him or anything.
No doubt.
Yeah, he seemed like he a dog. I ain't never seen him play.
Yeah.
But he talked that talk and he sound focused, man.
Nah, he definitely a dog, man.
Yeah.
That's part of his father. That's part of the culture that his father just instilled in him from a young age. I remember working out with him and shit.
I've been talking to my brother Ahmed. It's all right.
You good?
Yeah, we keeping it a buck. Don't worry.
This
This is uncensored. This is how it's stirred. This is the black version how it's stirred.
You good?
So I'm talking to my man Ahmed about that. That's what made me appreciate him the most is the homage he paid to his pops. I got sons. And I think every father, when they put that work in with their kid, a lot of times we feel like we hitting our head up against the wall and they don't understand. Like, that kid got it, He got it. But, enough about him. We're going to talk about y'all, man. Like,
where you guys are from? Where you from? You from Newark?
Yeah. I'm from Newark. I was raised in East Orange and moved down to Newark.
All right. So you from Orange, right? And you from Newark as well?
Yeah.
All right, got you. So now let me ask you, what youth program you played for?
What program?
Yeah. You didn't play youth football?
Nah, I ain't play with youth
When's
football.
the first year you picked up a football?
My senior year.
So somebody saw
In
you
high
walking
school?
around there and just said, "Yo, come on out here."
Yeah, I ran track because my Coach Nemi was my track coach, so he pulled me to the side and during the bus ride, and was just just saying speaking up to me, and telling me I want you to play football. So it took a while for him to convince me, but and he put his trust on me and in me, and then he was like, yo, he just paid my tuition in college. I mean, I ain't really care about football. I was a basketball player. I want the ball going to my senior year. So
How tall are you?
6'5".
6'5". And what position did you play in basketball?
Play DN.
Basketball.
For basketball, I play small forward and power forward.
Okay, so this is a thing that I talk to a lot of people about. You got a lot of these 6'4", 6'5", power forwards, and centers that are athletic with great footwork. And what happens is that coach saw that about you and knows at a 6'4", 6'5" power forward, it's curtains for you after this. That's guards. Guards are 6'4" and 6'5" today. But on that football field, kids like that translate into All-Americans sometime. Trevor Clemens was one of those kids that went to Camden Catholic back in the day. Like, I remember him as a basketball player.
He did the same thing you did.
Jackson Jeffcoat out of Texas. Same thing. I remember him on the AAU circuit. So, like, I'm glad you said that because we got a lot of these kids. Like, it's one thing between what your passion and you love and then something you can get paid to do or that can pay your way to school. See, when you're an athlete, you're going to be good at whatever you play when you're an athlete. But you're going to be great at something. And that's the thing. A lot of times we can't notice our knack, what we really great at, because you get on basketball, you nice. You play football, you nice. You play baseball, you nice. But a lot of times kids don't notice where they can really take it and feed their families. And,
When was it for you guys? Like, when was it for you that you felt like you could get to this part that you at right now?
I mean, honestly, for me, I probably say it was probably like my junior year when I really, started having schools look at me and offer me scholarships. That's when I'm like, okay, I could probably take this thing to the next level. I can't sit here and give you the cliche story like this was my dream playing in the NFL. It wasn't like that growing up. For me, it was just being competitive. I used to go to the parks. I used to go to Orange Park. You feel me? And always try to race the fastest kid in the park, or you feel me? Go one-on-one with somebody. It was just more so competition. And then once I got that first scholarship, which was from UMass, I'm like, okay, like it opened my eyes a little bit better. And then it was the grades, for us urban community kids, grades is always something that's holding us back. And I definitely didn't have those. So I definitely didn't really see like that I had the true potential until my junior year of high school.
So Elijah Battle, we didn't hear much from you, my brother. And I apologize for that. But tell us where you from and what inspired you to pick up the football.
I'm from North. What inspired me to pick up the football, it was probably like my junior year. I used to go to school in Linden. And, I played for Linden Tigers, like Pop Warner or whatever. And I transferred to Behringer. Like, it was like junior year, I transferred to Behringer. And that's when I met Smoking them, and went out there. Like, my first day, I went out there, played, had on pad. I think it was like a JV scrimmage or something. And then, like, after that, I did good in the JV scrimmage or whatever. Like, I always knew I could play football, but I ain't really know about going to college and doing all that. So when I went there, whatever. Like, after that, I sat down with Smoking them. They talked to me or whatever, and then it was like, if you listen to me and do what I tell you to do, you're gonna be able to go to school for free one day. So that's what I did, and I kept working.
So you went from Behringer to West Virginia?
Yeah, nah. I went to JUCO in Kansas, Dodge City, for 2 years, and then I went to West Virginia.
So what was that like, going all the way out to Kansas? Tornadoes. I know, like, being from where we from, that's what I'm thinking right off the rip. Tornadoes and all of that.
Yeah, it was tornadoes and stuff out there.
While you was there?
Yeah. They wasn't like, cause where we was at, I forgot what it was, but it wasn't like we didn't get the full tornado. Like, we got like a little bit of it when it hit. But going to JUCO, it was tough. Like, 'cause I saw a lot of people go there, they ain't never make it out, they ain't finish it. So it was definitely tough. Like, I was always in Kansas on my own. Nah, I mean, I had to work, I had to do everything. I went to camp.
You held a job?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I just had to work.
I get it.
Yeah.
Now look, when I know you guys played, high school, college, and now you're on your way to the league. I want to know who gave you that hardest hit that you would never forget, like on any level. You remember them too. Trust me, you do.
Who, me?
Anybody, I'm just saying, you know who hit you that is stuck in your mind.
Kumo probably gave the hit.
Cricket, huh?
Nah,
No,
nobody
did,
never
but
hit
I
you,
don't
huh?
remember, but it was
Okay.
deja vu.
But you had a big moment at Rutgers
I
that.
see it, but I don't know
Go
who.
ahead.
But nah, it was. I think it was East Orange. I was playing East Orange.
On Thanksgiving?
I think, yeah. Oh my God! I remember I was going after that quarterback. I was trying to just chasing the ball. I just remember somebody coming, boom, hit me, boom. I'm like, I can't breathe. But it's like I just remember that. But then it happened twice. I'm like, yo. Then I went to college, you know. Ever since then, I see people coming over. I'm like, oh, covering my chest and jump. But yeah, but I mean, yeah, that's one. High school was one of them, and I remember we was playing Indiana. One of my own teammates hit me, like, he's big as hell. His name Dewani, like 280 pounds. We was doing a stunt, so I went the other way. He just come and try to chase the ball. The ball went that way. Cause we did a stunt. The running back went the opposite way. He coming chasing the ball. I didn't look at him. Boom! He flew me up. I'm like, oh shit! And I fell down. And I'm like, who hit me like that? I watched the film. I realized my own teammate just cracked back me. It's crazy.
I got someone that everybody in this room probably know about. Rashid Benton from Shabazz. You know, he hit me. I was a quarterback playing Wildcat, and the hole open, and that hole immediately closed as soon as he got there. It was in Shabazz. That's probably my hardest hit in my my football career.
Gotcha. What about you, boss?
Nah, I ain't get smacked in high school. Nah, I ain't get smacked.
Oh, all right.
So your whole football career, you ain't never got cracked back on nothing.
I got cracked back. I got cracked back probably like last year or something, but it was like a lineman, but they threw a flag though. It wasn't clean, so it don't even matter, man.
Yeah, you done picked up that accent down there. Like,
I was thinking that the whole
word is
time.
fine, man.
But most important to be like him, man. Grab another young buck and do for him what he did for you, man. Yeah. You know, because that's what it's all about. You got to pass it down, man. You got to pay it forward, man. All y'all, man. There's some kids looking up to y'all. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens, y'all, the experience y'all had thus far, no matter what happens after today, you know what I'm saying? Somebody look up to y'all and y'all got to give it back because the route y'all took, y'all accumulated a wealth of knowledge. And that joint is valuable, man. You got to get that to them babies, even if it's just one, man. You know, like, that's your responsibility, for real.
It's a must. It's a must. That's what we're establishing around here, man. You know, and this is giving back what y'all doing right now. You know, we want you to definitely to keep embracing that and giving back to these young brothers. And I want to say, you specifically, Torre, I appreciate you because you don't even know my son communicates with you a lot. Jamar Thomas, he said he hit you. Yeah. And sometimes you take 10, 15 minutes, but you return his call, you hit him up and check on him. So I appreciate you for that. You giving it back for what was given to you.
Mine, he didn't necessarily make it out, but he was definitely an inspiration to me in my high school career, and then even now, Malcolm Bagley, he was killed. Yeah. You know, he was one of those guys that was a hard worker. He had the nickname for ambitious. Everything about him, everything about his persona from on the field, off the field, was his swagger, how he brought it. It was just different. And you feel me? I just always wanted to mold it, always wanted to bring that to my game. And I remember, don't mind me right now, hold up. I remember one day we was walking out of the weight room. He was just telling me, like, because he was ahead of me. He was 2 years older than me. He was like, hey, little bro, if you ain't in college by the time, whatever the case may be, I'm going to come back and whoop your ass. And whatever the case may be. And I always held that conversation in my head, in the back of my head. You feel me? Wherever I go. So, you feel me? I just try to live my life for him right now. Try to do everything through him.
Nice.
And like you said, you feel me, as far as bringing someone else behind us, like you said earlier, I got Nakui Hawkins behind me that I talk to them every day.
He talk like it. Y'all talk just the same.
I put him under the wing. Yeah.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, you feel me?
Yeah.
But it was like a lot of people I looked up to like ain't really make it out, like make it that far, like in their career, like whether they went to JUCO or something like that. But like people I say I looked up to, like when I transferred to Barringer and stuff, like people I started looking up to, like Coach Smoke, Kareem Huggins. I was looking up to those guys because they been in my position before. Coach Smoke going to JUCO, so it was like, feel me, and then going on to university, like they went the same route. He went the same route I went, so I was listening to him. Everything he tell me to do, I was doing it, and that's kind of, you feel me, how I was looking up to him.
I wanna say a name, and then you just tell me if you know the name. Sidney Gorp.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Sidney. Yeah, he was at Rutgers for a little bit. I was talking to him, like, you know, he was asking me for advice when he went to Rutgers. I was talking to him, I was like, yo, we came from the same hood.
So he actually did end up getting in the Rutgers.
Summertime, yeah. He was in there for the summertime, and I was talking about his, you know, living situation. And I was like, yo, I got you. Like, you know, I was talking to him, you know, it was cool and all. And he said he's going to go back home or whatever. They said it because they said he had something about some SAT, whatever.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so I was talking to him, like, yo, I'm going to got you. I'm, you know, hold you under my wings or whatever. It was cool and all and everything. I was cool with him. He would always text me every day. Usually, when he ain't come, when he had to go to JUCO or whatever, he would still keep in contact with me. I would still keep in contact with him. Like, yo, bro, just keep on working. I mean, you know, God got a plan for you. Like, everybody's route is different, so you just gotta make your own.
No doubt.
Yeah, you just gotta.
Because I definitely felt like he was one of those guys that can easily been in that the same.
Easily, and especially him being African too. So it's like, I mean, like, I just you gotta stick together. That's my cousin.
Got you. So what was the process like from college, you know, and leading up to the draft part? Like after your college career was over, and now it's time to like, you know, look for agents and things like that.
I mean, since my junior year, I had a lot of different agents hitting me up left and right. So I mean, my whole focus, I had to finish out my last year, and then just, you know, try to figure out which agent I trust and everything. So it's like I just, you know, interviewed, you know, different agent, and you know, just try to figure out what agent I wanted, but also, and I decided it was just getting too much. You know, called my sister and called Smoke and you know, people that I trust and support system around me, and you know, I would interview them and also had them, you know, do a background check or like, yo, what you think about this guy? Because I can't do it alone at the same time. You feel me? So, you know, they've been around me. I always had them since day one. You feel me? I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Nimi and Coach Smoke. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm still have them behind my back. And also, I got a family. So, I had my big sister. So, I had her. You feel me? So, it's like, you know, I had them check them out, too. So, that's how I found my agent. You know, and I'm still continue the process of finding, you know, financial advisors. So, it's like, that's, for me, like, you would never get what you have if you have people that's going to help you, you know, throughout your journey and throughout your way. So, I mean, I'm grateful that that God blessed me with them, you know.
What about you, boss?
Well, with the agent situation, I definitely wasn't a big fan. But, you know, God willing, I got one that I trust and I'm comfortable with. And then after that, it was just about training. And I went to one of the best facilities. I went to Exos out in San Diego and got it in.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't as popular as Kamoko with the agents and everything, but yeah, we got the same agent, and yeah, I had got that through Coach Smoke, and we got the same agent, yeah. And
That's dope.
I ain't go nowhere to train. I was at school training because I was still taking classes, so I was at school training, but I'm where I want to be. So
let me ask you, before you leave out the locker room to enter the field for a game, what is that's bumping in your headphones?
Oh, different type of music. You hear African song, you hear Chief Keef, you hear, you know, you just hear all different kind of songs. I just listen to everything. You hear Lil Baby, like, it's a whole different type of song. We playing and through my music, but also like. But me, mainly, I like listening to motivational, like Eric Thomas, before games. I would listen to them, try to constantly have, because you need always a message, you know, something to keep you going. So you mainly listen to motivational speaker like Muhammad Ali, or Eric Thomas, or just any kind of Malcolm X, or something. I would just pull that on YouTube, like motivational, so that way I could listen to a constant message. Remember where I came from or what drives me. So I'll do that, and then after I'm done with that, then I'll listen to regular music. I always listen to motivational speaker first before anything. So people are like, oh damn, like, why you don't just listen to music? I'm like, everybody have a different motive. You feel me? So it's like I just listen to that. Man, that's what keep me driving. And also after I'm doing that, I pray before a game.
I saw after you was drafted, you went to church the next day.
Huh?
You went to church the next day?
Nah, it's funny as hell. Like on Friday, every Friday, we do it's prayer. Like, you know, some Christian people that y'all go to church on Sunday. We go Friday. So I remember that day I went to met the masjid at 1:00 before my draft day.
Clinton Avenue.
Yeah, Clinton Avenue. After the masjid, I was praying. After I finished praying, I put my clothes on. God came up to me and was like, "Yo, just keep on praying." And I ain't tell nobody. It was like some people, it was my draft day. You feel me? In the masjid, nobody knew I was going to a draft day and whatever. I just kept it low key, you know, and invited people that I wanted to invite. And, you know, I was listening to a guy. He was just talking to me. He's like, yo, just keep on praying. You gonna get it. God, you know, you hear praying, God's going to bless you, whatever. So he left. I went home. I'm just sitting there home, just, you know, trying to get my parents ready. My mom taking long. Everybody's calling my phone, like, yo, what time is it, you know? But long story short, I was wearing my coat. I wear my Colts shirt. I wear the Colts shirt the whole time. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a shower. I took a shower, wore it back on. And I was just wearing it the whole, like, for 4 hours. I was just wearing it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put my, you know, the dashiki on over it. So I had my dashiki on. I just had the coat shirt on there. Went down there. I'm like, yo, I'm just like, had all my family there, just all sitting down watching the draft. And I expecting going the second round. I'm like, yo, talk to Neiman, like, yo, I think I might go third round. I'm like, yo, nobody called my phone. Until my phone ring, and his friends asked me, yo, where your address? I'm like, yo, get off my phone, bro. And my sister looking at him, I told you should get 2 phones. So I'm like, yo, damn. So I'm just watch the drive. I'm like, yo, everybody be quiet. Yo, Mo, we by your door. Open the door. I'm like, yo. I'm like, yo, my heart keep beating. So I'm like, yo, Neiman, I think this. Neiman's like, yo, calm down. You going against you. Ain't no choice. You going the second round. We don't care. Today's your day. I was like, all right, cool. So like 5 minutes later, it was like 51 pick. My man Anthony Miller got picked up that day. 51 second round, 51 pick, and I got a call. And I'm like, yo, everybody be quiet. Everybody quiet. My sister looking at you like this. I seen her first. That's the first thing I seen. So I'm like, hello. And then, you know, the GM, was like, oh, this the GM. What's up, Kamoko Ture? You know, are you excited? I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I'm like, yeah. And I mean, tears started coming out of my eye. I ain't no girl.
Nah, that's all right.
Come on, man.
Let me go further into that though, man. Because you know, I've heard stories, you know, about people on draft day getting drafted, right. You know, especially people not, you know, being from the country. When did you come to this country?
I came when I was, I told people I came when I was 3. My mom said I came when I was 6. So I don't.
Okay, so you don't ever even remember pretty much being African.
Not really.
All right, yeah, because that's the thing I would think, you know, overcomes you with emotion, knowing where you came from.
I remember that I came from. I remember everything. I don't know the age that I came, you know, but I remember every little piece and everything. But when they called my name and then they told me that we about to call you in the next round, it was so much joy because I remember I started having a lot of flashback with the shoulder injuries. And my mom, we lived in the East Orange, going through a lot of stuff, you know. We ain't had no electricity bills. We ain't had no water bill. I used to take a shower in a pot and all that stuff. So all that stuff came with my mom. My dad had went to Africa at the time. We couldn't keep in contact with my dad. He was, you know, the village, you know, they ain't got no phone service. So all that started coming to my mind like, yo, wow. Like my mom never wanted me to have a job. You know what I mean? She wanted me to stay focused in school, get my grades right, and worry about sports. So my job was only sports. You feel me? So like I told myself, like, that's the reason why I was playing basketball. I put my heart, my blood, sweat, and tears in basketball. Make sure I stay out of the streets. You feel me? Like, cause I started playing AAU basketball because I wanted to, because I seen friends that I had got killed and everything. So I was like, I wanted to get myself around that environment. So when I went to other states and started playing AAU basketball, I seen like, yo, this life is better than this. Like, I wish other people could see this stuff because the world out there is different. So I came back, so I started being more enlightened. Like, I started having more awareness and more motivation. So it's like all that started coming to my mind and stuff like that. So
Are you giving my man chill bumps right now?
No, and the reason for that
Like,
is
literally
because
chill bumps.
I'm huge on, like, with the Pop Warner kids, taking them places.
Right.
Because coming from where I come from, a lot of people don't leave the area. Some
don't.
people don't leave the state, but some people never leave the area. And it's not until you leave the area that you like, damn, we got it bad over here. And then you start aspiring to have the stuff you've been introduced to. But then I understand why some people are comfortable in that setting because this is all you know.
That's
so
all you see.
When you speak on traveling and starting to see things, then you go home and like you said, we take a shower in the pot.
Exactly.
You like, I got to
Yeah.
get up out of this. You know what I'm saying? So like that's
me.
that's
I was
huge.
raised in East Orange. I used to hang with my best friend was Sean. You feel me? I used to hang with him. And we used to go in stores and steal stuff, right? You feel me? Like, cause that's all I knew. I thought that was a good thing, but you feel me? Like after I started traveling, seeing different things, I'm like, yo, like, I was like, yo, it's like, it's way, like I was like, yo, it's way better than this. Like life, like I wish kids could see this, cause we only got 5. A lot of kids got 5 years as a teenager. It's like we ain't got that much. We got so much. We don't got that too much as a kid. We gotta grow up fast. You feel me? A lot of people think like they got a whole life ahead of them, and once you grow 20, you got like you're responsible for your own action. You feel me? Like once you turn 18, so it's like I realized that, and I was like, yo, I gotta help my family. So it's like, and mainly I got a great support system around me and that helped me out. So it's like I knew what's the right from wrong at the early age. You feel me? Because we've been surrounded with like we in the box. It was, like a lot of kids in the box. So it's
I'm gonna cut you because we got 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and this is something that if y'all don't have an answer, I want y'all to think about. Because like I was talking to Smoke know my cousin. My cousin broke records at Hofstra, got a pro shot, didn't get it, didn't make it. And when he didn't make it, because he's been an athlete his whole life, he had no other skills. He didn't know how to food shop. He didn't know how to pay a bill. He didn't know how to do anything. So you go from being that dude to now just facing a crowd, and it kind of sent him through depression. So, you know, I like to talk to people about, like, the ball's going to stop someday, whether it's tomorrow or whether it's 10, 15 years from now. What are y'all doing to prepare yourself for real life? Because when you're an athlete, it take all your time. You don't work jobs. So you don't pay bills. Like, somebody always paid that cell phone bill to make sure you could do your workout and different things like that. Like, you know, you talk a lot, so we're gonna come from you this way. You know, what do you think about? You know, what's life after football for you? What do you think about? You know, do you have a plan? Or ain't no plan B? Like,
Nah, it ain't. To be real, it ain't no plan B for real. Like I gotta get it this way. But if like after football, whatever it is, I know I'm a work to get it regardless. So I know that's gonna be it. But I ain't really got no plan B for real.
Okay.
Same here, but for the most part, I'm good with networking and people. So whatever the case may be, whatever that road leads me, I'm ready for it.
I can talk. All right.
Keep it short though, cause
nah, for real though. I mean, I graduated with a major at C.L.T.A, so I got built a lot of great connection with a lot of people with LinkedIn. So it's like when I'm done, I was try to build something with software developers and stuff like that, help kids and whatever. So that's my whole goal.
Okay, so what I want to tell y'all, you know, for those who don't got a plan B, you've been fortunate enough to play D1 athletics. You've met a lot of people. You've accumulated a lot of knowledge. That game you got could always pay you. It could always pay you whether you go back to your alma mater and become a GA and learn that game and get on the coaching staff and eventually make $500K, you know, whether, you know, you get into communications, different things like that, man. Y'all been around so much and been exposed to so much. Find something you like within that, because plan B or no plan B, the ball stops. Whether it's 10 years after your career's over, 15 years, you still going to have to go put it all together. Michael Strahan on the talk show, and he a Hall of Famer. So, you know, plan for that day, man, because I told you one guy, but I seen so many people that was high achieving athletes, and that fall is like, it's real frightening when you ain't never planned for it because you've always been that dude. You've always had somebody have you. There's skills you never had to develop because you were working on your craft. You know what I'm saying? So I like for y'all to just keep that in mind, man, and find something that you do naturally and that you love. You know that game. You know what I'm saying? That game should pay you one way or another.
One thing, and before you guys go on that journey, remember whether it's Coach D for you or Smoke for y'all, you two on the end, because you're going to meet so many other people that's going to be pulling. Always relate back to home base because them the ones that genuine love you. They don't want to dime for you. They just want to see you succeed. So they able to say, you see that guy right there? I had him. I see what he doing. If you follow me, you guys are actually the blueprint for the rest of the world. It's like, yo, you see him do that? Now it's easier on Smoke for the next kid to come out. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Also, real quick, just tell us where y'all going, you know what I'm saying, tomorrow. Where you going?
I'm going to Arizona.
Cardinals,
yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh.
That's what's up. Yeah, they hitting out there, B. Got to bring they hit.
brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And who you?
I'm going to Indianapolis Colts.
Okay, Andrew Luck out there in the scene. So, yo, good luck, fellas, man. Thank y'all for coming. Keep it a buck with us, man. We appreciate it. And again, man, remember, y'all got a responsibility to pass that knowledge on to the young bucks. And most importantly, you know, you can't pour from an empty glass. So think for self, man. Plan your shit. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So
Stay connected
plan all
here.
your steps.
Stay connected to your community as well. Okay, I know sometimes when the guys that get to the league, they have their own perception of giving back to you with people that don't need it. Stay connected here when it's time to give back with Smoke or whomever. Here, stay connected here. Whether it's doing a camp or whatever it is here, stay connected to your home. I appreciate you guys.
Thank
coming
you
out.
guys,
Thanks.
man.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Man.